Welcome back to Sigma Programming, a standard deviation from the ills. Isaiah chapter 58 verse 10. Give your food to the hungry and care for the homeless. Then your light will shine in the dark. Your darkest hour will be like the noonday sun. How to shine. A command was given by Christ for mankind to let their light shine so that their Father in heaven would be glorified. How to shine. Give your food to the hungry. You may not have enough food to share, but there are other things about you that can nourish people. There are other things about you that feed people. Whatever your food is, give that to the hungry. Some are hungry for a listening ear. You could become that kind of food. Some people are hungry for compassion. You can become that food. Give your food to the hungry. Some people are hungry for time, hungry for companionship. Become that food for them. Give your food to the hungry. This is how your light shines in the dark. It's already given, it's already acknowledged that we're living in a dark world. This was written back then and it's still true now. Dark is perpetual on this plane of existence. Give your food to the hungry. That's how you start. And care for the homeless. Same thing with the food. Applies also to the home. You may not have enough space. We're living in COVID. You may be exercising extra safety. But you could become a home for the very same reasons you could become food. Some people just need a listening ear once again. And you could become a home for them to vent, a home for them to confide, a home for them to have a relationship of some sort. Many people are dealing with isolation right now. How to shine. Isaiah 58. Then your light will shine in the dark, in this dark, in this dark, in this uncertainty, ups and downs, unpredictability, unreliability, constant change, constant flux. Your light will still shine. And what light does is make things visible, allow things to be understood, allows things to be comprehended. It allows you to see what's going on. Your light will shine in the dark. You do these two things. You become food for those who are hungry. Become a home for those who need one. Care for the homeless. Care for the ones that no one else cares for. Crowds may not apply now, but what we used to practice when we were abiding by this phrase was, look for the odd one in the crowd. That person. You could give 5 minutes to that person, and you could possibly save that place from encountering perhaps a violent end. You never know what's on the minds of the loners, on the minds of the outcast, which was what was characteristic about Christ the most. He often hung with outsiders and often accompanied those who were considered non-believers. Christ, the one sent from God, the one who lives in us, what he did naturally was gravitate toward the outcast. Your darkest hour will be like the noonday sun. The darkest hour is roughly maybe 3 or 4 in the morning. That's a dark hour. Maybe even earlier than that. Whatever time looks the darkest at night, going into the early hours of the morning, you could consider that dark if you want to use a visible representation of this. Your darkest hour will be like the noonday sun. So imagine what 12 p.m. is on a day where it looks like noon at 4 in the morning. It looks like high noon at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Imagine how bright that day looks by noon. That's the analogy. even in your darkest, even when you are most uncertain about your future, about what the next step is you need to make, when you're at your most uncertain, you can still shine if you're becoming food for those who are hungry and becoming a home for those without shelter. Your light is shining in this world of confusion, in this world of blindness, in this world of darkness, in this world with limited to non-visibility, limited to no visibility. Your darkest hour, though, will be like the noonday sun. So imagine what your brightest, imagine what your noon looks like if your darkest hour looks like this now. Dealing with some uncertainties, that's dark. Still shining because you're becoming food for somebody. You're becoming a home for somebody. When someone needs to talk, you pick up the phone. You answer the text. You're becoming food for someone who's hungry. You're becoming care for someone who's homeless. And if you're not, I would encourage you to, because this is how your light shines. We all want to shine, right? Shine is associated with what we see on the advertisements. Fortune, fame, not necessarily fame, but positive fame if there need be a fame. A good reputation, absolutely. That's better than riches. But on the subject of riches, to tie it in with this, shining, accumulating a comfortable, even luxurious living for your loved ones. You want the best for them. That's not a sin. It's okay to want the best for them, and it's okay not to feel guilty because you may not have the knowledge, the wherewithal, or the work ethic to accomplish it. It's called humbling yourself, not hating yourself. Go ahead and let your light shine. Let it shine. You're ready to do it. There's things in your mind and your conscience that sees that people are hurting. Give your food to the hungry. Give your care to the homeless. And then your light will shine in this dark. You may not be able to change the dark, but if you shine the light, at least some of the dark has to flee. But because of how bright you will shine, eventually all the dark will flee. And all things will be known and visible. All for the good, though. Thank you for listening to Sigma Programming again. This is Torian Lockett speaking to you. Have a great day. Peace. Unsung Verses, Volume 2. What are some verses that often go unmentioned in the scriptures? Titus chapter 1 verse 15. Everything is pure for someone whose heart is pure, but nothing is pure for an unbeliever with a dirty mind. That person's mind and conscience are destroyed. Unsung Verses. Isaiah chapter 33 verse 8. No one travels anymore. Every road is empty. Treaties are broken, and no respect is shown to any who keep promises. Unsung Verses. Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. Michael, the chief of the angels, is the protector of your people, and he will come at a time of terrible suffering, the worst in all of history, and your people who have their names written in the book will be protected. Unsung Verses. Colossians chapter 1 verses 26 and 27. For ages and ages, this message was kept secret from everyone, but now it has been explained to God's people. God did this because he wanted you Gentiles to understand his wonderful and glorious mystery. And the mystery is that Christ lives in you, and he is your hope of sharing in God's glory. Unsung Verses. Philemon
chapter 1, verse 14. But I won't do anything unless you agree to it first. I want your act of kindness to come from your heart and not be something you feel forced to do. Unsung Verses, Volume 2.